hugely exciting when the car first starts off.
It's like it's alive.
It's a new take on a rally car in America. What we want to worry about is it competitive against the cars that we're going to fight against.
We have planned an extensive test program.
In the testing, it's trying to pull out all those bugs, all these potential issues we can.
We discovered through the GoPro that the engine is moving.
A gasket on the steering rack has pushed out and lost a lot of fluid.
If nothing breaks, then people assume you didn't push the envelope hard enough.
Kind of go home, sleep on what we've learned from this, and come to the second test with more direction in what we need to do with the car. So we're here at Test 2, and we're in rural Quebec at some pretty amazing roads, very dynamic roads, perfect for the second test. We haven't landed on a suspension manufacturer yet. There's still lots of changes that we know we need to try, whether or not they're in the right direction, but things we haven't even tried yet.
First of all, we had to make sure there was reliability in the small things. Gravel spray protection, arm protection, damper protection. You couldn't be ruining parts constantly because we don't have the right underbody protection. Beyond that, it's mechanical reliability. Then you move on to more the chassis dynamics, and you just start to lay in a database of, rough roads is this. Technical roads where there's a lot of steering input is this. And so it's one big progression.
We're only on Test 2. We've only put a few hundred miles on this car, so there's still a long way to go.
Again, the aim is to test on different conditions, big flow roads, massive jumps and landings that we haven't done any jump on Test 1, for example.
We have taken the decision to benchmark damper manufacturers. So we have pre-selected 3 manufacturers and to challenge them to make their best dampers for the next generation of Subaru in the American Championship.
Vermont Sports Car built this thing from the ground up with their specs, different geometries, and we might find that one manufacturer of suspension that just works a little bit better.
We need to drive more, and we had some nice roads in Canada that just what we were looking for in terms of characteristics. But in the end, we realized that changing roads, it also changes the quality of the ground, and we see some other problems. So we did 400K in Ohio and without some major damages. And now after 50K in Canada, we start to have some damage, but just because the sand is maybe more abrasive and it damages more the parts.
Stages are rough, and at some point they are getting too rough, which is not realistic, for what this car will see in America. It's a bit challenging, but it's also very useful to show us some weaknesses of the car, so very interesting.
It's all top secret stuff in here. You can't be watching this stuff. This would be pay-per-view here, for the next season of launch. Oh, you really want to get in here? Yeah, you have to pay extra for that.
Not all rally drivers can be test drivers, but I feel like Brandon's doing a real good job. From the first run we do in the morning to the last run at night, you can feel the improvements.
With the new car starting from a blank canvas, it's pretty exciting. It's a serious challenge on my end because you're chasing small improvements to get it right just for race day.
Brandon as our test driver works well because Brandon's the one competing in the car. He's not going to sit there and talk necessarily about diff ramps endlessly with engineers, but he can go drive the road, he can come back and he can say,
there's some little kicks on the insides of places.
And we can start to narrow in on that box that the car is going to work well in. And right now that's working well for us. We have to look to the past to understand the future of this program right now. It's very easy to forget that in 2020 we lost the championship. And in 21 we had new competition come in, we had new cars come in, and the level of competition actually went up. Think about last year. The championship went down to the very last event. The conversations around what the new rule book would look like, there's a lot of balls in the air on all of that. The result is what we're building today with the mindset that we were going to have some serious competition going forward.
$100 Acre this year was definitely quite interesting. It was the first gravel event of the year, first time being in the car on gravel with the new regulation changes. Barry showed up with his same world car.
Barry shows up to one event, hadn't driven in months, and he's putting in times quicker than Brandon.
It's kind of something we've been through last year with Ken in terms of we're outgunned, we're pushing the car to its limits, and we're staying consistent.
Like thinking to myself, even telling Keaton, I was like, that was about as good as it's gonna get for me. Like I don't know how much more time was left in there. Like maybe a second or two if I was like pin perfect in a couple places. And then we'd see the times and Barry would take 8 seconds out of us.
Once he got the pace with that car by day 2 at 100 Acre Wood, he was beating Brandon. You know, there was a flip of the leaderboard there, and he was winning. And that was the specific event where Brandon came back, gotten beat by 6 seconds on a stage, and said, "There's not more time in this car."
And like at that moment, you're just like, there's no way. Like I can't beat him off raw speed. It's not gonna happen.
Unfortunately for Barry, he had the stall, cost him the rally.
It's on film, you can count it with a stopwatch and you can see the time lost. And that's really the amount of time we won the event by.
We only got that win by such a small margin. We were within 10 seconds the whole rally. So
we needed to just increase our performance with the car to keep the battle going with Barry and others.
And this is why we have this new platform, and we need to find that area of performance.
If you're running a Subaru and it's any other color than blue and yellow, it's not a factory effort. This is a factory effort. There's an awful lot of heritage there to protect, and there's an awful lot of honor there to protect.
It's such an iconic livery. People could look back on decades and decades of rally history and know that, oh, that WR blue with the fluorescent yellow cluster, that's the icon.
We are at York, Pennsylvania for Boxerfest, which is a gathering of Subaru enthusiasts. And we're here revealing the new 23R rally car.
You know, anytime you come to one of these Boxerfest or any of these Subaru events, you know, you get such a huge collection of enthusiastic, passionate people.
Go! When we heard the car was here, this beautiful car, we were like, yeah, man, we gotta go. Straight up here we went. Absolutely gorgeous. Pinnacle. It's amazing.
Crazy to see what they did to the whole chassis.
Super excited to see the VB. Definitely worth the wait.
You can really see the humongous wheel wells.
That's what takes your attention out of this whole thing?
That's what takes my attention is interesting. I mean, you can go flat out over anything.
I love that. Like, I think of all the aero.
You do. I mean, the aero looks good. The rear aero is amazing underneath the car. If Brandon or Travis gets sick, y'all got my number, right?
It's sort of the perfect place to reveal the car, frankly, because it's a number of people who are already way into the brand. They're our core group of enthusiasts, and so no one can connect to the car better than they can.
There's a lot of pride for Subaru of America, the staff at Vermont Sports Car, and really the fans of Subaru. That's what they go for. That's what they want to see. That's who we are.
It's great to see the Subaru finish the livery for the new car.
You know, now with this kind of stars coming up over the A-pillar, and the blue is like a satin, and it looks quite nice.
Really makes it look like a proper race car now. So if it looks as good as it goes, then we should be going well.
The roads that we see here in Kentucky are quite good because they are quite stable, so we can make a consistent test, you know, not always having the surface changing, which is always difficult to test on gravel.
It's our last kind of scheduled test for this car now before we head to Ojibwe.
The purpose of this test is to validate the things that we have seen on the test 1 and test 2 and to do the last setup as well.
The low-hanging fruit's all been picked, and now it's trying to find that last 10% of what we think we can get out of the car and get the car in a position where we're confident that we can take it to a race and be competitive.
We have moved to F53, so we need to fine-tune this suspension, for instance.
We were running the suspension at some of the other tests, and now we're here on different roads, and it's slapped on the car, no suspension changes at all, and it's already working well kind of out of the box.
We've used R53 in other sports, and rallycross in particular. The engineering capabilities of that company are very good. We legitimately tested 3 different types of suspension, and this one was chosen by the results of those tests. We have allegiance to performance, and performance only, so that's why they were selected.
It's a very difficult discipline in terms of trying to get the damper settings correct, and working with VSC and Subaru and with a great team, it helps us a lot to be able to support them and to get the best setup for this car.
And I feel like when we go to the edge of the cupping and it's like there's something there supporting us, maybe it's a bit harsh. The old car is really stable and is really well balanced. High-speed corners especially, you can really just lean on the car. You can do the same things now, but you have the ability to make these little adjustments within these corners, whether slow or fast, where it just takes way less effort to make that direction change, even at speed, even on the limit. It's more the fine-tuning at this point, so precision tuning the suspension and other bits on the car.
We have a new shim stack.
Just small changes that need to happen to get the car feeling absolutely perfect for racing.
I've been a part of a lot of test programs with different manufacturers. This is probably the most successful testing I've seen yet.
We've tested in multiple days in 3 locations, and we're really trying to have a package that's ready. You want to go into an event with confidence. If you're not confident, you shouldn't enter.
It's been a good journey, and obviously there's a lot of pressure, a lot of reputation we've got to uphold, but I think as a team we've done a good job.
The car's shown it's really reliable. We've made immense improvements over the 3 tests. So
anything we do run into after this, it's got to be pretty major and unforeseen.
Debuting the car is going to be exciting, but it's also going to be very stressful.
We expect to win, but we also have to be realistic that it's a brand new car.
There's just something different about race day when you have competitors behind you and they're putting the pressure on you to go faster. Like, you're going to push the car in every little place, you might not push it in a test.
The best test you have done, it will never prepare you enough for a race.
You can test and test and test and test, and then you go to the event and something will rear its head that you never even saw during testing.
You never know what will happen.
Yeah, so we're here at a Ojibwe rally.
Spent the right time in testing and development and engineering. I believe it'll perform very well, but you'd never really know to the day.
But the final test is a rally. That's where we are, and we are ready to go racing and to show what we've done to everybody.
Okay, today, good luck.
Yeah, here we go.
3, 2, 1, go.